How's it going, my evil residents? Today, we are going to be ranking all of the weapons in Resident Evil 5. Because I feel like it, because I've played this game way too much. Now, the criteria for this list is not just going to be flat damage. Now, as useful as flat damage proves to be in this list, as you will see later, there are other factors that go into it, like its usefulness in a first playthrough, like how soon you get the weapon, if it's effective when you get it, how good it is for a non-infinite ammo playthrough versus an infinite ammo playthrough. I'm going to mainly be basing these based on how it performs on veteran difficulty and in mercenaries, but I will throw in how useful it is in professional because professional is also cool even though it's not that fun in this game, unless you have the infinite RPG, which is maybe a spoiler for the list, but I won't waste any more of your time, so let's get into the ranking of all 30 of these weapons. Dear God.
Stop saying you're the guy. We all know that you're not the guy.
In last place, dead last, the worst weapon in this game. Oh gosh, it's the Ithaca M37, the first shotgun that you get, because much like Resident Evil 4, the first shotgun that you get is immediately outclassed and pointless once you get the second shotgun, which in that game is the riot gun. In this game, it's the M3, and the M3 is much higher on this list. The Ithaca is basically that gun, but worse in every way. I think the only thing it has above it is it holds more shells, but reloading speed is not going to be a huge factor in this whole list because of the technique where you can just reload in the inventory by combining the ammo and the gun. So even then, it's not that important. The only time I'd recommend this is on literally your very first playthrough on a low difficulty because that is the only time it's going to one-hit anything. The M3 is just much better, it does more damage, it has more spread, it's just better. It's a better gun. It is immediately outclassed, and this gun is just, I hate to say it, but it's just worthless. Number 29, we have the Stun Rod. Now, while this weapon is fun, and you can stun lock a lot of enemies with it, which is really funny to do, it is very impractical for fighting a lot of the different enemies in this game. Some enemies you can't even fight with this thing, like the little flying bat things that I forget the name of. The only thing I'd really recommend this for is if you know the spawns of the map, or you're in a corner and you're not playing on the boat area of the game or the tribe area of the game because they have ranged attacks. If you're just playing against normal Majini, Stun Rod's fine. Stun Rod is good. But the problem is you get it so late in the game, you get it around the time that you start fighting ranged enemies. There's literally no point to having this besides a meme or to troll your friend by zapping them, which is really funny to do. Yeah, I'm convinced that they just put this weapon in this game as a meme.
Friendly death machine spinning up.
The Gatling gun, now, while this weapon does do a lot of damage, the massive amount of spread, how slow you feel, how much of your screen the backpack takes up, and the fact that you can't use one of the top 5 weapons in the entire game with it because it has a special aiming animation and it makes the backpack of this weapon block your whole screen. It's ridiculous. I'm not going to say which weapon, you probably already know if you're watching this video, but oh my gosh, it's just so disappointing, and it takes forever to get, and you have to upgrade the worst SMG in the game to get it. So there's just it's so disappointing, especially compared to Sheva's weapon. Oh man, it makes me sad. The only time I'd really recommend this is if you're fighting like a stationary boss or you're doing like a holdout section. That's about it. If you need to do a lot of moving and you need to see what you're doing, don't bring this thing. But if you want to have silly fun times on amateur mode, or on veteran, on an easy mission, yeah, give it a try. Why not?
It's a machine gun! Machine gun!
At number 27, we have the VZ61, which is the SMG that you get right at the end of the first level when you're doing the holdout section in the execution area. This weapon is the definition of tickling the enemies so hard that they get stun locked. It does so little damage, but it will stun all the enemies so that you can damage them with something that actually does damage. I would say it's not super useful until you upgrade the magazine at least all the way. I would also recommend upgrading the damage. This weapon works as a better keep away tool than the Ithaca does, while your partner or your AI hopefully kills the enemies, or it lets you land a cool epic punch or a stomp move. It serves basically the same purpose that the handguns do in this game, except it's less effective at killing zombies. And you're gonna burn through all your ammo. So I don't recommend it very much. Coming in at 26 on the list, we have the incendiary grenade. The incendiary grenades are very fun to use, but they're not that good because they don't really do that much damage. And the stun that they do, there's other things on this list that do much better stun, that give you much more advantage, and don't damage you. So it doesn't really fill a niche. It's the thing that's better than it is more common than this. So it goes pretty low on the list just because it gets outclassed by a lot of stuff.
It's Nerf for nothing!
Next is the HNKP8. This is the equivalent of the Resident Evil 4 Punisher. It's the pistol that lets you penetrate through enemies, but the problem with it is it doesn't do that much damage, and you probably already have another weapon that is good for crowd control, like you probably have an SMG or a shotgun. So you don't really need your pistol to be doing that. At the same time, if you don't want to run an SMG or a shotgun, this is the pistol you want to pick, because it's gonna keep back crowds because it penetrates through, I think, 4 zombies, something like that. It's pretty good at, especially if you're in like a tunnel, keeping a bunch of zombies at bay. The problem is it just has shit damage. It doesn't do that much damage at all. It doesn't have the lowest damage out of any of the handguns, but the other handgun that has low damage has a better utility than this one does, so it goes here.
I just woke up in a fucking steaming mood, yeah? Because I live in a shit...
At 24, we have the M92F, which is the handgun that you start with, that you get from the butcher guy. I rank this one pretty low because, and I know some people swear by this like they do with Leon's Silver Ghost in Resident Evil 4. It's almost the same weapon, except it has a giant 100 round magazine when you upgrade it. It has a high crit chance, and it does okay damage. Now, if you're lucky, and you get those crits, you're gonna have a good time. But I guarantee you, there will be a couple times when you are praying, pleading, screaming, crying, and throwing up, I need this critical, please game. You will not get it, and you will die. I've had that happen with this weapon so many times, and yeah, it's extraordinary how much that sucks. And for that feeling alone is why it's so low. The crit chance on this gun is pretty reliable, and I would say it's more useful than the penetrating power of the HNK that we just talked about. But, and then if you're on infinite ammo mode, just run one of the more high power handguns that you get. It doesn't really fill like a spot. It's just the handgun you get until you can buy the other two, or not the other two, but until you can buy the other handgun, basically.
On the third day, God created the Remington bolt action rifle.
Next is the 23rd spot, where we have the S75. This is the first sniper you get in the game, and honestly, I feel like I ranked this one a little low, but I have to say, this weapon's so slow. I like to call the S75 the Diet Magnum, the Zero Sugar Magnum, the store brand Magnum, if you will, because it does like 2,000 damage, but it's so slow. This is going to be really good for taking out like bosses and stuff, or big enemies like mini bosses. This one will one tap to the body though. That is a big difference, and that is something I really like about this one. Yeah, I recommend grabbing it over the other starting like first wave of weapons that you get in the game in the first couple chapters, because of its really good utility as like a Diet Magnum, and there's nothing else to use your rifle ammo on until you get to the section right before you fight the flying bat creature thing that comes out of the truck. So yeah, while it has its uses, it's outclassed by every other Magnum and every other high damage weapon. It's just the first high damage weapon that you get, which is why it lands here. At number 22, we have the SIG P226. Now, this is my personal favorite handgun, but I acknowledge that another handgun on this game is much better by like a lot, but this is my favorite handgun. This is the most reliable 2-shot kill in the main game that you can get. Sometimes you'll get a crit with it, it's not a super high chance, but if you can reliably hit that zombie twice, it's going down. And so as long as you land your shots with this gun, you can honestly clear the game pretty easily. The only cons with it are it's a pistol, so it's a little bit annoying to aim because you can't like...
Chris? Stop it!
I'm going to put both of these in the 21 and the 20 spot. These are the samurai edges from Mercenaries mode.
Chris, you make me proud. But of course you are one of my men.
Barry's has the penetration ability that the Punisher from RE4 and the H&K from this game has, and Wesker's just is the same. Does a tiny bit more damage, but it doesn't matter because it doesn't make any difference in the amount of shots to kill. So, and it doesn't have any other ability, so it goes below Barry's.
Pizza was not hot and ready. Pulling an AK-47.
Next is the AK-74, and I didn't realize until I was making this list and I was testing all the weapons. Please leave a like for how long it took me to test all the weapons again in this game, because I had to test a bunch of weapons that I don't use and don't like very much. And in this case, I ended up liking this one a lot. I didn't realize how much damage it did. Oh my gosh. Look at the gameplay. He just instantly he died. He's gone. So yeah, the reason this is so low is because the accuracy is piss poor. The only reason I was able to kill him so fast is because he was really close to me. And yeah, it's okay for keep away because of how low its accuracy is, but the assault rifles in this game are supposed to fill the space of more longer distance, mid-range combat, and this one is just not good at that. It's not, so that's why it goes here.
12 gauge that just racked an IRL slug.
At number 18, we have the Jailbreaker. Unfortunately, it does not allow you to do the Dipman glitch in this game, so it goes way lower. It actually does pretty okay damage. It does a little bit less damage than the M3, and it has a wide spread. The only reason I don't like it is because that damage is put over the wide spread. This is going to be the same situation as RE4, okay? Capcom really said, let's take RE4 but make it piss-colored when they made RE5. So in RE4, comparing this and the Riot Gun, it's going to be the same as comparing the M3 and this gun in this game. It's honestly whatever you prefer. I personally much prefer the straight-up narrow shot damage of the M3 over the widespread same amount of damage with the Jailbreaker.
Now you see, the M4 is one of the most tactical weapons ever made.
At number 17, we have the SIG 556, which is the AK-74, but more accurate and does a little less damage. That little less damage does not make a huge difference. That more accuracy makes a big difference, which is why it goes above the other one. Honestly, you can interchange these for whatever you feel like you prefer. I'm going to say that for a lot of these guns on this list because a lot of them are just varying scale. Of do you want damage or some type of utility. I honestly prefer for this gun the utility over that small difference of damage, but it's up to you.
I hate this game!
Now at 15 and 16, exactly in the middle,
look at little Tim Tim sleeping so soundly.
Wake up, Tim!
I put the frag grenade and the proximity mines. Proximity mines are worse than the frag grenades because while they do, I think, 1,500 damage and the frag grenades do 1,000 damage, they're annoying to put down, and you can kill your partner with them. So the frag grenades are better, even though they do less damage because they're less dangerous to use.
You're staying. This isn't a democracy anymore.
At number 14, we have our first Magnum. It's the first Magnum, the S&W M29. I put the S&W M29 here because it has the slow rate of fire, but it only does slightly more damage than the fast rate of fire Magnum, and that slow rate of fire isn't compensated by massive damage like the other Mag that I'm going to talk about later. And while it has a high magazine, that doesn't really super matter with the Magnum because you're not going to be using a ton of ammo, and then the reload speed doesn't matter because of the reloading and inventory thing. So it's just outclassed by the other Magnums. I'm going to leave it right here. At 13, we have the H&K MP5. Now the reason I have this here is because it's the H&K P8 handgun, but it's actually good, and it is in a much more easy to waste ammo type. Basically, it's what the H&K P8 should have been, because it does what seems like to me more damage, and it pierces a lot of enemies, and because it's automatic, it has incredible crowd control. This weapon is just so good at everything except mini bosses, so I recommend if you're fighting like any kind of Majini, you can just and they're gone. I really like this weapon. I use this weapon all the time. While it doesn't do as much damage as the other two assault rifles, the SIG and the AK-74, I really, really, really recommend you bring this if you're going to use something like a rifle, because you just need this in the rifle. You don't need anything else. If you just have this and like a high power weapon, and then maybe a grenade launcher or something, you're totally golden. Next on the list is the S&W M500, which is the giant freaking super dentist white magnum. And it's a big gun. Of course it's gonna go high on the list. It's a big gun that does big damage. The reason it's so low is because I feel like its DPS is lower than the L-Hawk because of how slow its rate of fire is. But if you're fighting like a mini boss, he's gonna be stun locked anyway. Or if you're fighting a regular boss, he's gonna be stun locked. So just use it for that. It's not super good at taking out every enemy type in the game, which is why it's not cracking the top 10 or anything. But it's really useful against all the big boys. All the big boys.
I know what kind of man you are.
Now, the other two snipers I have put at 11 and 10 interchangeably.
What'd you think I'd do to some guy that I don't even like?
I could not decide which of these two is better. I just could not. I tested both of them a lot. I've, over the years, been like, oh, I prefer this one. No, I prefer that one. No, I prefer this one. The H&K PSG-1 and the Dragunov SVD are both really, 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 really good weapons. The only reason I have them barely cracking the top 10, depending on which one you think deserves to crack the top 10, is because by the nature of them being a sniper, you have to aim down the sight all the time and it takes forever. So if you're cornered, they're not going to help you. But in virtually any other scenario, they're going to be super helpful. They are incredible.
Flashbang through the door! Position 4! Hit the targets!
At number 9, we have the flash grenade. Now, the flash grenade is like a skip button. You give me flash grenades, I'm skipping as many enemies as I can. I'm destroying, pressing B on that door to get out of here. I'm calling Sheva. That's what the flash grenade is for. That's why I love the flash grenade, because there's some sections in this game I just don't want to do, okay? I love this game, but oh my god, this game just... They blind you for way less time, like a millisecond. They blind you for like half a second. And they blind the Magini for almost 10 seconds. They're so good. I think the only ones they don't blind are the shield enemies, but they still stun them to let you kill them. They are incredible. They also insta-kill any enemy with an exposed plaga and those little annoying little spider things and the annoying freaking flying guys. These things are incredible. That's why they're up here. The only reason they're at number 9 is because they're not a gun.
He's not the guy. I am.
At number 8, we have the M3. This is the shotgun I always use. This is my go-to shotgun. I love this thing. It's got good damage. It's good against bosses. It's good against enemies. It's especially good against the Ouroboros guys popping their like orange shoulder bulb things. It's good against everything. If the enemy's not far away, this will destroy them. Okay. And even if they're far away, it still might stun them. So it's a really good weapon. I recommend using this one over almost any other shotgun. You will see. But yeah, the M3 goes at the number 8 spot.
Wait.
I knew you'd come.
At number 7, we have the last Mercenaries exclusive gun on the list. It's Jill's PX4. Now, this weapon is the M92F, but if it did crack, this thing is insane. 9 out of 10 of your headshots with this gun will be a critical and will insta-kill the enemy. And if it doesn't, it's a 2-shot kill. This thing is incredible, and it makes Jill one of the best characters in the Mercenaries, by far. Jill BSAA, by the way, not Jill with her funny suit.
There's nothing stronger than love except an M32 rotary grenade launcher.
Yeah!
At number 6, we have the almighty, underrated, the grenade launcher. Now, the Resident Evil 7 grenade launcher is so middle of the road. Another reason I ranked that one so low that I didn't say in that video, because I shouldn't be slighting another video, because I shouldn't be slighting a game because it's not another game. Fuck that. I'm gonna do that for this video. The grenade launcher in this game is so slept on. I never see anyone use it. You can buy the ammo for this gun. You could just straight up just buy it. And you know what it has? Flash rounds. You know what flash rounds are? Flash grenades. You can just skip whatever you want with this gun. You have 12 skip buttons. And then if you give an extra slot, you have 24 skip buttons to just skip whatever you want. That's insane. And that's only one of the ammo types. It also has regular explosive rounds, which act like regular frag grenades, which are incredibly helpful. You know when you shoot down the transformer things on the poles, especially in like the early levels, especially in the first Chainsaw Majini battle, they like set it up for you to drop it on him. They have that as a round in the grenade launcher, and it does a lot of damage too. It's the electric round. They have the flame rounds. They also have the acid rounds, which are good against the Reapers, but they're so specific and they're bad against every other enemy type. Don't use those very much. The best rounds in this game, they're better than the flash rounds. They're more expensive, so you shouldn't use them quite as loosely as the flash rounds. But the nitrogen rounds, they freeze any enemy and make them a one-hit kill with literally anything. You can shoot a nitrogen shot right at your feet if you're cornered. Take out your knife, slash, all the enemies around you are gone. They're dead. You just killed like 5 enemies. That's incredible, and that's one nitrogen shot. It works on the armored guys too. So if you don't quite know where to shoot them, bring nitrogen rounds. You could buy them in the store. On your first playthrough, you don't get them till the last level, but every other playthrough after that, oh my gosh. The nitrogen and flash rounds alone put this at not quite top 5. This weapon does have some problems. It is clunky to use because if you want to use more than one ammo type, it fills up your inventory really fast. You can just carry it as like your flash grenade launcher if you want, and then the reason I put it a few spots above is because of just how good those other ammo types are. Unfortunately, they are expensive, but you can buy them, and treasure is not super hard to get in this game. So, yeah. I totally recommend using this weapon. If you have a good amount of your weapons upgraded, you have infinite ammo on pretty much whatever you want, and you don't have to worry about burning your cash, use this weapon. Or if you find rounds in the level, bring your grenade launcher to the next level, load them with those rounds. Have a good old time. This thing's amazing. I can't stress enough how good this thing is. Please give it a try. I feel like nobody uses it. Please, please, I beg of you. I swear I'm not sponsored by Grenade Launcher. The top 5 weapons in Resident Evil 5. Starting with number 5, the L-Hawk. I was going to put this on number 6, but the fact that Wesker had to have gone, silly little fruity little Wesker, had to have gone out of his way to take a Desert Eagle, say, hey Jill, you know what would be funny? What if we opened a sarcophagus, put this in there, and then closed it, and then we waited for Chris to show up, and then I acted like I was busy afterwards. Like, that's hilarious, because there's no way a Desert Eagle's in an ancient temple for no reason. Wesker had to have put it there. That's just a game theory. Oh my god, that alone puts this in the top 5. It helps that the weapon's incredible. It fires really fast, it does good damage, like really good damage, it's a Magnum. It doesn't carry too many shots, but like I said, it doesn't matter with the fast reloading. The main reason that this is super high is because if you're doing an infinite ammo run, don't bring a handgun. Bring this. This is your handgun. It destroys everything. It's literally, you shoot it, it's dead. Like, unless it's like a hefty mini boss or an actual boss, this will just melt it. And it's obtained in a very silly way, so it's in the top 5.
I volunteer as tribute!
At number 4, despite this being such a pain to get, it's just so good. Any mini boss you see, any normal enemy you see, as long as you learn how to use this weapon, they're gone. It's slightly weaker than the L-Hawk, but because it just comes with infinite ammo, and you don't have to spend as much technically to upgrade it, I think it's better, honestly. You'll get used to not having a laser sight after a while with the longbow, and it also gives you an excuse to play as Sheva, so.
You are either lying or you're stupid!
At number 3, we have the man himself, Megatron. We have the M93R. Now,
Megatron, you've got to transform!
Now, what can I say about this thing that hasn't already been said by every other person that has ranked weapons in this game? It's so good, but it eats through ammo. But by the time you get this, you have enough money to upgrade it for infinite ammo. Be honest with me, you're not using this. Any of you who have ranked this low because it eats ammo, you're not using this without infinite ammo on. I know you're not. Nobody does. Because by the time you get it, you have infinite ammo. You have the ability to get infinite ammo for it. Don't lie to me. Don't lie. I know. Okay? I know. Best handgun in the game by far. It makes any handgun, any SMG, any shotgun except for one that you get obsolete. It has no recoil. No recoil. This is an automatic weapon with no recoil. It's the only weapon in the game that is automatic and has like no recoil. The next best one is the H&K, the MP5.
We've been here before, boy. I don't need to explain.
Number 2 spot, the second best weapon in the game, is yet again, like Resident Evil 7, a shotgun. It's the Hydra. Obviously, the Hydra is incredible. It does so much damage. It's like if you took the wide spread of the Jailbreaker with the damage of the M3, dunked it in gamer subs, and then just frickin' went to town. This thing is so good. You will melt through professional mode with only this gun. I firmly believe that you can beat professional mode, except for like a couple of faraway bosses, with only the Hydra. Not even infinite ammo, and you can beat the game with very minimal problems. That's how good the Hydra is. If it doesn't kill them, it will knock them down. Please use the Hydra if you haven't. I slept on the Hydra for a few years because I just thought the M93R looked so cool. Just use the Hydra. Fuck the Gatling gun blocking its sight though. That sucks. At number 1 in the whole game, you knew it was coming. It's the one, the only, the infinite ammo rocket launcher. Not only is it incredibly easy to get, because if you have an infinite ammo shotgun and you can play the game on amateur with flash grenades, you can get this weapon. It's so easy. You honestly don't even need that infinite ammo shotgun anyway. Like, beat the game in, I think it's 4 hours? Let me double check this. You have to beat the game in under 5 hours. That's so easy. Do you know how easy that is? I could do that in my sleep. What time do I have on this game on amateur? I've beaten this game in 3 hours and 45 minutes, okay? Now let me look up the speedrun record for this game. An hour and 42 minutes. And that's on new game, okay? It's just, you can do it, okay? You can do it. I did it without a guide, and I suck at these games, okay? You can do it. And it makes it the number 1 weapon in the game. It's honestly easier to get than any of the other infinite ammo weapons because you don't have to do all that upgrading, all that buying of the freaking annoying ass noise in the menu that haunts my dreams from trying to upgrade every weapon. It's an infinite rocket launcher. What more is there to say? Well, that is every Resident Evil 5 weapon ranked. I'm not quite sure what video I want to do next, if I want to do RE2 Remake weapons ranked, or if I want to do Village or RE4 Remake. Have a good day, and stay evil, my residents.